Um, Generally, what we do is I start off by talking a little bit about Shakespeare, things I've been working on, things I've been building, creating, any Shakespeare updates if there are. And then we do around the room. People talk about what they're building. They have questions. They show their projects off. They ask questions. They talk, open forum, and we give everybody an opportunity. So you can have an opportunity to share if you would like. But if you don't want to talk, I can drive for you. Okay. Yeah, I can share the project. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Okay. Well, we'll start here in 2 minutes at 10 after. Then we have another stragglers. We'll but without them, they can join when they get here. But it's a busy time of year. People are traveling for holidays and whatnot, so we might not get too many more people. We usually have anywhere between half a dozen and a dozen, I guess, depending on the day.
Man, Derek, you got all kinds of projects.
Oh, I have lots of projects. Too many. Oh, I have them in my SMB folder because I'm going to be expanding this. But nah, these aren't all my projects. I have a lot of local projects that aren't in Shakespeare.
That's cool.
But yeah, these are only a couple of my projects. I have way too many other ones. I haven't worked on anything exciting recently. Oh, an ugly Christmas sweater party. Where's this at? Bottle Theory, Elmhurst. In Illinois. Oh man, I could get in the car and drive there. Okay. Let's get started. So, welcome to the Vibe Coding Jam session. The only new person here is STL 1988. So, welcome, sir. I said earlier that it's late. You said it's 2 a.m. where you're at right now. So, thank you for staying up late and coming and hanging out with us nerds. I appreciate it. Welcome back, Seth, Heather, and JBN. So, over the past week, I have not built anything in Shakespeare. I have been very busy. I have been working on things, but nothing in Shakespeare. I've been working on the Android app a little bit from time to time for Divine. I work on that with Claude Code since Shakespeare is not made particularly for Android apps. Um, Working on some other projects. Again, not in Shakespeare. And then we don't have a whole lot of Shakespeare updates because our team has been split. Half of us have been on the other side of the planet. But we do have some cool Shakespeare news, though. We had 5 people at a hackathon in Taipei last week, and they all won prizes for what they built in Shakespeare. Chad is not here, but I'm going to show off his client for him. Chad built this app called Me, where it essentially downloads all of your events from Noster. You can put in your NPub or anyone's NPub for that matter, or your Noster address. And like if I put Derek Ross at grownoster.org and I hit go here, it's going to take a while because I have a lot of events, but it will download all of my events. And then I can keep them cached locally here if I would like, or I can download them to a file. I wonder why it's not counting up. Normally it counts up. There we go. All right, there's the pretty animation. So this is going to go for a very long time. I'm not going to bore you all to watch this counter, but this is my Chad won second place at the hackathon with this app. So this was my favorite app. It said once it's done, you can download all of your Nostr data to a JSON-L file. You can save that for safekeeping, or you can re-upload it if you would like. So it's just a way to run a local backup copy of all of your data. Think of it as kind of like a local relay for all of your data.
Presumably, I suppose you could build some other kind of app or client to search through them or organize them.
Yeah, I guess if you wanted to, like once you have all of this data locally, you could then manipulate it. You could build something on top of it to search and organize your data if you wanted to, because this does download everything. So yeah, absolutely. His app does not have that feature, but you know what? He does have the code out there. I'm sure you could clone it and work on that if you would like.
And it's bringing it into a standard file, right?
Yeah, well, it didn't take that long. Look at that. Yeah, so
Okay.
it just downloaded all 40,000 events. Yeah, and then I can resync if I don't think it got all of them. I can import events. I can export them, download them, or I can delete everything and start over. But yeah, you could potentially, since you have all this data, you could have it and scroll through it and search through it. Like he does have a search up here. Okay, I actually haven't used the search. Yeah, but you could. See, he does have a search. Okay, my bad. So it does search. Sure, look at that. All of my posts that say Shakespeare, they're all
That's
here.
slick.
Cool, very cool. I forgot that it had the search criteria up at the top, but then it organizes it in different kinds of content. I don't know if this is actually right. It says only one note. That's interesting. There's more than one note here. So whatever. This was his hackathon application. Maybe it needs more time, needs more um, updates or something like that. There's a couple bugs, but anyways, check it out. me.shakespeare.wtf. It's very cool little hackathon app that he built. I said I don't have anything else to showcase. There are some changes coming to Shakespeare. You may have heard me talk about this whenever I was playing around with it and discovering them myself. Alex is working on improving Git right now. We want to make it so Git is easy, so it'll automatically deploy for you It will allow you to easily choose, GitHub, GitLab, or Nostr Git. It will remember that choice and then deploy, or I'm sorry, push your changes there easily and automatically for you. We want to make it easy for the average person that doesn't understand what Git is to not have to know what Git is, just to know that they're making a cloud backup. They're making a save. They're saving their copy of their data. And then ultimately, it would be nice if whenever you sign in, it says, "Hey, we found all these projects. Would you like to import any of them?" And you know, you pick some projects to import and it re-imports them for you. So that's coming down the pipeline. You'll look for changes here in the near future. But everything else has been the same. So nothing has changed on Shakespeare since last week because the team has been hacking away at hackathons. Any questions about how anything works? Now is the time, as most of you have probably already asked these questions, but STL, if you have any questions about Shakespeare, now is the time. You're going to change to a larger screen. Okay, well, you can ask whenever. You don't have to ask right now. We'll be here for a while.
I'm curious how we got that awesome design on the me. Shakespeare. That design was so cool.
Yeah, I don't know what he said to get this design because this is extremely unique. Like I've never seen a Nostr app designed this way before. So he had to do some serious kung fu to get this. I don't know what it is. I will ask Chad what prompt he used to use this type of design language. Definitely very cool. Like it's just something like
Yeah.
It's very like look at the like it's just absolutely wild.
Yeah.
So is he using Shakespeare on these this hackathon, or is it a combination of AI tools, old
No,
school?
they all use Shakespeare. All
Mm,
like everybody from our team, like MK won a prize for her app. Chad, Shantaram, Sam, they all used Shakespeare. Liz from AOS, she used Shakespeare and Goose. I think I remember MK saying. So she
mm.
used two different tools. But yeah, but everybody won a prize at the hackathon and everybody used Shakespeare.
That's cool. Yeah, I think that like thinking about like the hackathon and what's the sovereign engineering and stuff like that that had happened, and I think these tools just kind of being the front and center is like such a cool, because you don't have to be quote unquote a developer, to really be able to produce something that's good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
So
absolutely. I think that, tools continue to get better and better and people learn how to prompt differently. And
I like how using Shakespeare is automatically going to kind of have Nostr sensibilities built in.
mm-hmm. So I'll say yes, but I'll show you here a little cheat sheet. So if I go to this business website I made, Bonfire Barbecue, and then I go to project details, you'll see here that the template is Love Stack. This is a non-Nostr template. There's no Nostr at all.
Good. Yeah.
Now, if I go to WTF AI strategy, and I go to project details, you'll see this is MK Stack. MK Stack is a Nostr template. So the AI is smart enough to know if you say social or you mention things that are social to use the MK Stack template to build a social app. But if you don't mention anything that sounds like it would need social, it doesn't do the social features. It uses a completely different template.
Okay. And it'll understand basically the Noster nips and all that better than just regular AI would.
Oh yeah, because it uses the Noster book MCP, and it understands Noster. Yeah, like Shakespeare understands Noster better than any other tool out there, hands down. That you could mimic a lot of that functionality if you wanted to by connecting any tool to our Noster book MCP, and then it would fully understand Noster. But we also have a template that has a bunch of like pre-built code that specifies how certain things on Noster should work that the other tools might not have.
That's cool. I noticed this week on the Shakespeare main page, I believe it was, how Shakespeare is different is that it's right there for people who just want something that works, but it's wide open for anybody that wants to connect their own trained AI.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Um, since I am presenting, I'm going to show STL's projects just so we don't have to jump around. Since he's unable to present, I'm going to show his projects off for him. So he made Vidster. Vidster is a Noster video player where it also looks like very, very, very close to an app that I built like a month ago, where it shows shorts at the top and then it shows regular videos down below. Vidster, you don't actually upload anything to Vidster, just like your normal Noster app. It uses Blossom servers. So none of this content is actually like hosted by Vidster. Vidster is just the client that organizes it. That's really cool. But yeah, this is your shorts that are available on Noster and your long videos. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna make it better. Ah, there we go. There we go. I hate light. I hate light. It's too bright. But yeah, these are so people are uploading content to the Noster. It's here.
So anybody can use Shakespeare in plain English, build their own interface to videos that are already out there.
Yeah, this is exactly what he did. Yeah, yeah. So now I can click on following, and these are videos of people that I follow that they uploaded.
What is it? What's the nip for shorts?
I don't follow. Oh, Sam. I was gonna say, wait a second, I don't follow this guy, but Sam. I forgot Sam re-uploaded all these. What's the? It's Nip 71.
71.
Nip 71 has two different event kinds, kind 21 and 22. I forget which is short vertical videos and which is the longer video. But there's another kind that I'll say it was deprecated. It's like 3426, something like that. That event kind was actually the original Nip 71 event kind. Then it was deprecated because of technical reasons, and then the Vine brought it back because it's addresses actually it's addressable, meaning that it's editable. So you could go in and you can edit the title, edit the name. I mean, you can even edit the media, I guess. And you know, there's all sorts of debates about editable content on Nostr. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, Vidster uses NIP 71 as well as the older versions of NIP 71, and he posted them as custom NIPs, which is the same NIP that Divine is actually using. The old addressable, but I guess what's old is new because there's new applications actually launching that specifically use that. So let's see here. You click upload. You can select a file, describe your video titles, use the current NIP71, the latest standard. But I guess if I toggle that off, it uses the addressable kind. Perfect. Interesting. Okay, so his app supports both kinds. We'll say the new kind that you cannot edit, but then the kind that you can edit, that which will soon be the most popular kind once Divine launches.
And the debate is that editing is not actually overwriting.
Well, I mean, certain people, nicknamed Dad, and some others don't really like editing content on Noster, and I understand the argument, thinking that you could potentially have different relays, web servers, whatever, all over the internet showing different versions of posts, different versions of content. If that relay never receives the update or doesn't know that there was an update, and we know that not all relays receive content, so JBN relay could have the original, Derek relay could have one of the updates, and the third update could be sitting on Seth relay. But since our relays don't actually get updated always the same way, then my relay could have something. We'll never get the latest version, and Seth's relay would have the latest version, but the other relays won't, just because of how Noster works. Because, for example, if I watch a video and I like it, and then I boost it, I'm now sending it to all of my relays. Now the original poster goes out there, JBN goes out there, he edits the video. I don't watch the edited version and I don't reboost it. So now that video doesn't make it to all of my relays, and I never boost that content out, the new content out. There's just so editing is hard, and it has its ups and downs, positive and negatives, and a lot of people don't like it because of that. But if you have a more closed type system, like Divine, I think it probably is fine, because the default relay for every user is the same relay. So I think it's fine in that scenario.
Current version. It's always current version.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to look at his next app, STL's next app here. I want to keep calling him St. Louis, but he told me that that's not what it's for. Did I not? Did you not type it out right, or did I not? Oh, that's not your app. We won't show. That's not your app. We won't show that app. We'll show another one. All right. So this is his other app he's working on. Noster Images. This is a Instagram or Zappix type app. Again, very, very good. I like it. Looks good. Now this shows kind 1 images, maybe. There are kind 1 notes that have images, or is this strictly kind 20? Kind 20, okay. And we'll fix it here. There we go. Show malformed posts. Malformed posts are events that don't follow the NIP68 standard. Okay. And there are some that are like that. Yeah, I found that out when I made Zappix. Very cool. It said upload. Yeah, cool. And the last app that he's been working on, I like these. The last app is a NIP10 client. What is a NIP10 client, you ask? Well, it is a NIP1 client that includes threads. So text notes and threads, NIP10. NIP10 is threads, and we all know what kind 1 is because we use them all the time. So he made a just your average, text client. He made a video client, and he made a image client. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, keep building. We need. I think Vidster. Vidster's really cool because I made one as well. I demoed it a couple weeks ago, but I never launched it because it just wasn't done. So I obviously think it's a good idea since I built something extremely similar. So hell yeah, keep improving on that, keep using it because I think that we do need alternative um, large video players. Now, the downside to that is that your average person doesn't know that they have to have a Blossom server to upload media, and it's kind of hard for them to understand that. But I absolutely love the idea, so keep working on it, man. And I'm gonna say yo, and I'm gonna post it anonymously. And look at that, it gave me my NSEC. Here's an NSEC. If I would like to log in with this and use it later, I could. Or I could just say, I've saved my keys. Did it publish? Yo 2. Post anonymously. Oh, it does post it. Okay. So it posts it and then it gives you your keys if you would like to save them. I understand. But when I close that, it says the status. Yeah, that's a bug because down here it said that it posted. Very cool though, man. I keep working on them. These are cool. I love seeing them. Awesome. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, thank you for giving us your apps to share. And thank you for coming. And if you have any questions or anything additional you would like to share or talk about, just type it in the chat and I can read it off for everybody. Heather, you told me that you have a bunch of things that you've been working on. Would you like to go next?
So I can get a transcript later and share my screen. And where the hell is, there you are, Shakespeare. My buddy, Shakespeare here. So I've been screwing around here. And it's probably my third, I think, iteration of trying to make a Stacker News. And I really had it perfect. And then I screwed around with it too much and too hard, and the context window got too long. And I asked it to do things that it struggled with. And so I really need to delete the repo and start over. But I don't know if I'm really going to delete the repo. But I also, instead of just killing it off today, I went in and realized that what it did was kind of funny, and I wanted to see if it could fix it. So we'll find out if it could fix it. And it's going to a different, hang on. Let me share a different tab. As it's loading, I realized that this is going to be probably too hard to find an example. But I do have I have screenshots of this, but let's pretend for argument's sake that somebody posted a picture here. Because this is just pulling events, like this is pulling kind of one notes from Noster and organizing them like Zap News. So I realized today, because somebody posted something cool, and so I went to Primal to see the thing that they posted, and then I realized, oh, they posted a cool picture along with the cool thing, and so I went back into Shakespeare, and where's the prompt? Somewhere up here. You can see the sausage be made. So I said, if media is attached to a kind OneNote, please ensure it shows in the app. The attached post had an image attached to it, which is not shown. So it says that I got to work on that. And like, this is, if you want to learn Noster things, this will teach you Noster things because it found what it thinks the issue is. I haven't, I haven't verified this, and it does a little work. And then it's like, okay, so here's how I fixed it. And I, it would take me a while to dig through the Zap News app that I made and find a post with a picture in it because it's kind of hard to find the way it is. So, it says it removed the logic that stripped URLs from content that was initially there, which probably shouldn't have been there in the beginning. So I'm going to try this again and just start over and not let the context window get long without backing things up because I'm lazy about my Git backup, which, by the way, was over here. It moved over here now, in case you didn't know that earlier. So I'm just going to start over because I nailed it and then I fucked it up. So let that be a lesson in paying attention to how long your context window gets, paying attention to whether you're actually backing up with Git, which, as Derek explained, is probably not going to be an issue for a while. And so, this little change here for moving the Git menu that was over here, it's like dots, I think, to over here, like this just happened this afternoon. So if you're like, what happened? Like this is only a couple hours old. And then another thing that I don't think we've addressed for a while, because as you saw how Derek had his Shakespeare, this, I think he has like a couple of folders at the top. And then I also did like a little organization where I have like a keep working on this file. So like I can go back to the Roast Derek app, which also needs to be done. Like I wanted to put this in the Soapbox showcase, but it's nowhere near being showcaseable. Like I don't think it's a complete app. I think one of the mistakes it made was Derek after Lighthouse work. I think that like it never showed the zaps in the Derek Roast app. Or maybe, it would show like maybe I think recent posts, so it would show chronological posts, but the zap count wasn't really accurate. I just noticed like some of the posts that got zapped a lot more didn't accurately show the zaps. So if we want to keep doing roast birthday apps for Noster, and I think we do, I'll have to fix that so I can showcase it later. And here's like my demo projects. I organized that in case I want to grab something in demo really quick. I think I've showed off all of these. Like I did a Christmas tree one, Christmas tree lot. Yeah, I think I showed all of these last week. There was Timewise, which was um just a super simple prompt of like help me manage my time better. And this is how it interpreted that. I don't know if I showed off the Cashew app that this was like a dare that Callie made on Twitter to our Soapbox Twitter. And so like I think I'd mentioned that you could pretty much there are quite a few apps that you can make just from one word prompts in Shakespeare as long as you're doing Opus 4.5. And one of those is if you type cashew, you will get a working cashew app. It probably won't be very visually thrilling. There's a chance it might just come out ugly. So Calais dared us to do an app that was pirate themed. And I'm going to not even kid you, like, I struggled to come up with the right prompt for the cashew theme. So I went through a few different themes, one of which was very ugly, and I've deleted it until I got one with my Captain Jack Sparrow gift and a couple floating nuts. And so this was a working wallet. I set it up with mini bits, and I can't remember. I think at some point I put in another mint, but I can't remember if I did or why I took it out, because I made 4 of these freaking things, and this was my winner that I at replied to Callie with on Twitter. Here's one where it's like, okay, I think it's similar to this one. I told it to make this one psychedelic. Here's one that I said make it ocean themed or something. Yeah, ocean themed. It's like it's a good practice to be very explicit in what you prompt your AI to do, because this is actually not bad. I mean, for coming up with an ocean themed app, if that's all you want, that's cool. This could obviously better, but it will get very literal and be like, okay, here you go, it's ocean themed, because I put a wave in the hero section. Are you happy now? So I don't know, if I really were serious about this and wanted an ocean themed habit thing or habit tracker kind of app, I would probably look on the internet for like a really awesome picture, or I would probably get some screenshots of a website with a theme that I liked, and I would probably upload that kind of thing, because you can always upload one picture at a time here, and that's a lot of fun to just try to give it something that it can visually interpret and then build off of that. And then Podster, this is Derek made Podster. I am not highly technical to go to podster.org and just kind of like follow the directions and make the whole thing with MK Stack. And I can't remember the things that you have to download. And like, if you have technical skills, you can do a spin-off of Podster like that. So instead, I went and did a spin-off of Podster just using Shakespeare to quickly fork the app. I turned it into, if you've seen our Podster site for Soapbox Sessions, it's white and green and blue. I turned it into a radio detox site for my second podcast, and turned it into like black, orange, purple. Had to add my bio from my NPub, and actually, it's really good that it imports the latest thing. I added the YouTube thing. It actually created this little floating. It looks just like the YouTube logo. It doesn't always do something like that, so it did that on its own. I appreciated it. And then you just go back and imported the feed and everything. Shows Derek Ross as my top supporter for 5 months ago. And yeah, so that's kind of like my demo projects that I've been working on. I can find them really quickly here now. There's some just for fun. I think you've all seen some of the Christmas apps, and just color coded my projects for, nerd sake, personal projects where I have like the portfolio, which is, this is another one word prompt. Again, if you want to use the prompt, portfolio, all you have to do is write portfolio, select Cloud Opus 4.5, and it's got my NPub, which is, if you're a new user to this whole space, like, you may not have an NPub which has a lot of stuff on it, but like people like me and Derek, and most of you have been around long enough that you probably have enough on your NPub that if you needed a portfolio site, this is what it came up with. I didn't change any of the copy that it came up with because it mined it off of my NPub. And then what did it do? The one thing that I fixed in here was these were links that were broken or just didn't work. And so I was like, hey, here are the links, make them work. And that was all I had to do to really get it. Like, you might need this if you're job searching or for professional reasons. And that was $4.15. It, you know, clearly interpreted Noxter properly, used the Love Stack template. And this is probably like the simplest. I don't know how many lines of code it has, but it's not very many. So that was a good one. I have some favorites. Now you know what my favorites are. My Nostra for Creators site kept growing and kept improving it, and I'll keep improving it, and I added other people's content. And then, oh, what was my other favorite? Was it's called Zen Import, but this is, when I wanted to start doing yoga again, I can put up my class schedule, have people pay with Lightning Zaps or Zap payments. Of course, I've always offered yoga for free, value for value. But, that was something I made because I thought other people could use it. So I'm going to have to put it in the showcase for sure, that one. And then there's a bunch of other just random stuff. Oh, this was an experiment I did, that it didn't become an app. But I'd read something about when you prompt AI and you tell it a joke, you tell it something really general, like tell me a joke about coffee. It's always going to come up with something dumb like this because it's going to give you this every single time. But if you get more specific with your prompt and you say generate five, here's the arc, right? You go from tell me a joke about coffee and it does the job to generate 5 jokes about coffee with their probabilities. It goes a little more choice worthy here, and it gives me, because I'm asking it to, it's forcing itself to be more creative, so you get a better quality prompt. So I was like, how can I use that with Shakespeare? Can I use that? Can I apply this little lesson to doing Shakespeare prompts? I haven't really gone there yet, because usually Shakespeare, it knows what it's doing. It tries to fix problems on its own, which can be good and can be bad if you let it go too long trying to fix problems on its own. Give it 2 tries and then move on is kind of become my philosophy. I don't know if Derek has another philosophy on that, but if I can't get it to fix its behavior, Like with this one, like it had a couple things it struggled with here. I might have asked it to do something it couldn't do, but I'm in a place where I want to see what it can do, so I try to find out if it can do things that are kind of crazy. But I probably let it go like beyond 2 or 3 tries for a couple things in my experimentation, which definitely don't do that. Like since we use Shakespeare at a credit system, just remember that you can always cut it off and be like, hey, you're not fixing the problem here. You're not recognizing the pattern here. Or just refresh your context window, which I think is over here now with new chat. So I could do that here and start over, new context window, type something out, fix blah, 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 blah. And then it starts over. And that should be a little healthier for it. But, once in a while, it can go off the rails. So if it starts to go off the rails after 2 prompts, it doesn't bring itself back in. That's kind of where I give up and go, start over or let me roll back. Because again, you have that opportunity over here to do that.
You know what I'll say, Heather, is that in the beginning, whenever I was, we'll say, 6 to 8 months ago, whenever I was first getting into this, I would do that a lot. But with the current state of models, and especially with Claude Opus 4.5, I I'll say I almost never, I cannot remember in the past month, at least since Opus 4.5 has been out, where I've ever had to go and struggle with fixing any type of bug. Like, I would say most prompts with Opus one shots things. And if there is a bug, I can get it fixed in one attempt if I need to do that. Or, maybe it's a real bad bug and it'll take 2 attempts or something. But it Opus just seems
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. And I have not, I
It's
haven't been able
it's
to stump
very
it. I haven't
competent.
been able to
It
stump it.
is. God, when did we get Opus? I mean, it feels like it was only weeks ago, but a month ago. Because the things
A
that it's
month
been
ago, I
able
think
to
at
do are
most.
things that we couldn't do a few months ago. Like that portfolio thing I just showed off. Like that one is my perfect example of a few months ago that would have taken an hour of work because it did. Because Tanya and I did that, and a few months later, you can just type portfolio and use Opus, and there you go, $4, and a few minutes later, you've got a workable portfolio. And it did take me a second prompt, but it's like, wow, I can do a 1-word prompt and one follow-up prompt, and I've got a portfolio site. That's to me, that is
Hmm.
so wild. Because I've been here for the whole thing, right? We watch models come and that's, oh, this is the next new model, and everybody, it spreads like wildfire and everybody's trying it all day, like the first day, and it's so cool. Like Haiku blew my mind because I was like, oh wow, this is as good as Sonnet and it's cheaper. And then a couple days into Haiku, it suddenly wasn't as good. So it kind of started to fail. And then, like, I don't know, a couple of weeks later we got Claude Opus, and it was like, okay, cool, forget Haiku, although Opus is a lot more expensive.
Yeah, Opus is expensive, but I mean, I'll say depending on what you're building, like I exclusively use Opus because it one shots everything, and it's amazing that you don't have to have as good of prompts anymore. And it literally make it makes your bad prompts work. Whereas with Sonnet and older models, you had to have very detailed prompts to get things to work. But
Mm.
Opus just figures things out. I'm very amazed what I've been able to do with it one shot, and then
I think it makes things
iterate
possible, like
features and stuff.
rebuilding
Yeah,
Stacker News. Like that would have taken forever in Sonnet. Like that would have been a major undertaking. So this is one of those examples of like, I probably wouldn't have done that before.
What were you saying, Seth?
well, I'm just piling on to your praise for Opus here because I had a for instance tonight where I'm working on a new feature for Zap Cooking, and I could not, for the life of me, figure out how to get. I'm adding like a following and a notes and replies tab and like a global feed, which is doing client side filtering um, for basically food related items. So I have all sorts of different tags and all sorts of different food related words that it's filtering on. And I use Cursor, as I've talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
I ran out of, like, you can select models, and I ran out of my budget on Opus 4.5. I was using it like this past weekend to really make some updates, and I hit my limit, and so I was trying to work through this problem tonight, and I'm like, damn it, I'm just getting frustrated because I keep prompting and I keep prompting, and I'm using my standalone Opus 4.5 saying, here's my problem. Help me prompt Cursor to figure it out. And it's telling me these things to do. And I'm like, I got to the point where I'm like, screw it. I will pay for the added credits to get Opus back. And I swear to you, as soon as I got it back, one shot, boom, fixed my problem. Like
Yeah,
it wouldn't
I,
go
I believe it.
and I went through like 5 or 6 iterations of prompting to try to figure it out. And as soon as I got to Opus, it just one shot it. Boom, done.
Yeah, I believe it. I'm amazed every day when I use it for whatever project. Like I was using it today to build stuff internally for Shakespeare, or I'm sorry, for Soapbox, and it was a Shakespeare features, and it's just able to do it. Like I'm just amazed that it's able to do it.
Yeah, it's your go-to power. Even like GPT. What's the other one on there? I guess
ChatGPT sucks. Let me
it is
tell you.
terrible.
So this is vibe coding related, and I love telling stories, so this works. So today, during one of my last days at the Fiat mine, I had to do a very large SQL project, and I said, you know what, I literally don't want to do this. Oh my god, but I needed to do it, and I said, you know what, there's no actual sensitive data in here, so I can actually, like, there's no PII. It was just a country and like state data, like ISO standards stuff and names and stuff. And I was like, oh well, I can literally update this and use AI. So I signed into Chat GPT for whatever reason first, and I I tried it and it just didn't understand my request. And then it came back and it finally said it understood my request and it gave me all the data. And then I ran my update in my development environment and I checked and I'm like, wait a second, like a lot of this stuff is wrong and it's missing. So I took I said, I was like, all right, fuck you. I'm going to go use Opus. And I copied and pasted the SQL script the Chat GPT gave me. I put the original data file in, gave the SQL script the Chat GPT wrote to Claude and said, hey, fix my SQL script. And it came back and it's like, yeah, there should have been 114 entries. There's only 76 entries. And some of them have typos and some of them are wrong. I'll fix it for you. And I'm like, what? And it literally fixed it. And I tested it right at the end of the day and all the data lined up and it worked. Like Claude just is so much better. Like so
Yeah,
much better.
it hands down, it is the best model, specifically, for like development and in general too. And I need to use it. I use ChatGPT for a lot of different things, work related things, research, and Claude is as good, if not better, in so many ways. And I just need to, it's like an old habit, and I because it was the original model I used was ChatGPT,
Yeah.
so I've been using it for so long. I just need to, and I have pro versions on both of them. I bought a Claude like 1 year subscription,
Yeah.
and then I have ChatGPT I pay for, and I just need to cut the Band-Aid,
Yeah.
and just
Well,
get
the
them
whole
like
reason I use ChatGPT because that's because what I used, for a year and a half. So it
yeah,
has like all of it knows me, right? It has all
yeah,
of the
exactly.
memory, it has all the memory and all the old prompts, so it knows me, but I'm slowly migrating everything over to Claude because that's what I pay for and it's just so much better. Uh
Yeah,
last
no,
last week, I was cute. So when a little bit of a side story, Divine, whenever it launches, is going to use a KeyCast server. KeyCast server for think of it as managing users NSECs, and they can sign in with an email address and password. They can do password resets and everything. So it's a key manager. Sure, it's a trusted key manager, but most people in the world won't manage their own keys. We know this. So that's just a sad truth. But anyways, I don't like to recommend things unless I fully understand things. So I tested and was using KeyCast, and it seems to work from my standpoint. But I'm not a cryptographer, so I assume it's doing everything correctly. So I downloaded the repo, and I came up with a whole bunch of different questions to ask Claude to look at, and Claude put my mind at ease for some things, and then some other things it raised some more questions. So I came up with some security scenarios, and Claude came back and essentially told me that it would have that two scenarios could exist where keys could be compromised. One of them would have to be an incredibly lucky man in the middle attack where you would have to know that Derek is signing in to Divine login for the very first time. And if you knew that exact second that I was logging in and you had compromised the server, then you could compromise my secret token. You wouldn't get my NSEC, but you could post as me. You could essentially use my bunker string and post as me, but you wouldn't get the NSEC. And that's not that big of a deal because that scenario is literally never going to happen. But the fact that it could, I was like, okay, well, let's get this fixed. So I asked Claude how he fixed that. Claude came up with the fix, and then I told the developers about it. I'm like, hey, you guys actually that built this actually understand this more than me, but this is what Claude told me. If you think this needs to be fixed, here's the fix. And they're like, oh yeah, that's definitely something we should fix. We're going to implement these changes to in memory, blah blah blah. And guess what? It was just merged like a couple hours ago. So
oh
I
wow,
I, I use Claude to do a security audit is what I'm getting at. Like, and it found a potential. Like I said, stars would have to align, but there was a potential vulnerability. So it
did
it
you ask him? Did you ask it about if it's quantum resistant?
no, I did not.
Okay.
No, that's we'll ask that later.
Yeah, no, I was thinking actually this week along similar lines because people and this might be a future project of mine, but you know how people are like paranoid, like I don't want to put my NSEC in that thing. Um,
Yeah.
and like if we built a tool that you could just go to the repo and just audit the code and validate, red, yellow, green.
Is it safe? Yeah.
Yeah, is it safe? To put people's minds at ease, because I think people aren't exploring enough because of that. Rightfully so, right? You use a bunker, use a signer, extension, whatever. I get it, but like at the same time, these tools that are being built aren't being explored because people are paranoid, right? And it's like for good reason, but like if we could put their mind at ease and say, this is validated, audited, um, you know, check, then maybe they would be more comfortable opening up to some of these new tools.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I I agree, man. It's very
Yeah,
cool.
we'll get there.
Very cool. Anything else you're working on?
Yeah. I mean, I've been working on the mothership, Zap cooking. I can show a little bit of broken behind the scenes stuff I'm working on right now. If you want.
Yeah, if you want. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, literally, while we were sitting here, I've been trying to fix it, so it's a little broken, but a future feature, and I'm kind of gearing all this up because I'm getting app ready. At least some of the things I've been researching to get this to Android and iOS app level where I can use a essentially a shell. I don't know, Derek, if you have familiarity with it, capacitor.
Capacitor. Nice. Yes. Yes. Yep. Yeah, that's what we're going to end up using at Shakespeare to be able to like give people apps. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Cool.
yeah, I did a proof of concept. Alex did a proof of concept. Yeah, but that's probably what we'll eventually have.
Nice. Well, I've been working on it, and I've gotten the Android stuff further than the Apple stuff, obviously. But
Very cool
um,
though, man. That's awesome.
working on in the background, and I'm showing you the mobile view and all the uglies behind the scene and stuff like that. So that lots of this it needs fixed. But I built a my own feed here, and essentially we have. Can you see my screen? Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
showing it.
yeah, I see.
I have a global feed and a following and a notes and replies, which is pretty common amongst Nostr clients. But the difference is that on Zap Cooking, this is all finding food related things. And again, there's bots and stuff I got to clean up, which so it's real messy right now. But um, the idea is that you can go out and you can have conversations, just discover people, and say, hey, I'm talking about, hors d'oeuvres and cucumber sandwiches and whatever. And you can, engage in the conversation on the global level, or you can, look at your followers and you can find new people. Or, for example, if you find this person, you can say, hey, what recipes has she posted? Or what food related items is she talking about?
Nice.
Um, and then we have the list feature, which I need to put more work around. But and then recently I added the mute feature so users can curate their own experience a little bit better. Um, so that's what I've been working on this past week, and I've been really uh, hammering out my my credit score on Cursor. So I think it's going to be a really cool thing. And this, I'll show you another thing I recently updated because I think this is important too. Is the sign-in workflow? I upgraded that last week. Just creating an account. And one of the things, and I was using multiple AIs to kind of balance it off of it. I'd take a screenshot of my old version. I'd say, what do I need to do to improve? And it's like, first of all, you're like really scary because it was saying like, hey, whatever you do, don't share your keys, and
Yeah,
it's like, do something that says your account's almost ready. I'm like, oh
yeah.
yeah, that's right.
That's a lot more user friendly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I updated this workflow where you can, now your account's created, you can back up and reveal. I added, where you can upload your photos and stuff like that. Put a display, a little description stuff,
Nice.
just making it easier for
Yeah.
users to sign in, sign up.
And you support obviously NIP 07 browser extensions. Let
Yeah,
me
of
give
course.
let me give you some alpha.
All
Uh,
right.
I would add NIP 46 Noster Connect if I were you.
Yeah.
So you can do bunkers, but because I'll tell you, an app that we all have on our phone is launching very soon with a built-in bunker. and you'll be able to copy and paste and scan connection strings with a camera scan, like a camera QR code, and also copy and paste from the app. So that app will be your bunker as well. So
Oh,
it's gonna make everybody. And let me tell you, the interface is really nice. Like it's really good. It's pretty. I mean, it's advanced stuff still, but it's pretty user friendly. You're gonna really like it. I think it's gonna really help these like other stuff apps that have struggled to gain major traction because people don't know how to sign into them.
yeah, no, that's awesome, and I'll definitely add that feature here.
Yeah,
Um,
I want to add that to
cool.
Shakespeare. I haven't had a chance to, but I want every Shakespeare app to be able to have NIP46 by default. So we support the bunker URL, so it's not much of a stretch to support Nostr Connect, and then Shakespeare apps will be ready too.
Okay, yeah, cool. Thanks for the alpha.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so yeah, just in a nutshell, I did a lot of this kind of like hierarchy stuff with the comments and stuff tonight, and still buggy and still got to work through a lot of stuff and whatever, but we're getting there.
Cool. STL, you asked about the voice agents. So now I understand. Thank you for clarifying. We don't have that built into Shakespeare at this time. There's been ongoing debate about it. I think the voice chat is winning. We just need to figure out how to do it. Lemon had worked on it at one point. Alex had worked on text chat, but yeah, we want to add it. So at some point you'll be able to vibe code with your voice, and you'll also be able to use it uh, as a chat bot. I'm going to give you a URL now. Think of it as like a proof of concept. I'll put in the chat. You can go here and sign in, and it'll use your Shakespeare credits. So you can go to Ask Quilly, and you can go in and chat and have a conversation with Shakespeare. And it'll just be talking. It won't be building, but something along those lines will come at some point to Shakespeare. And then you'll be able to say, build me a Twitter site with your voice, and it'll build you one. But you'll also be able to say, hey, should I build a Twitter site? And then it'll be like, no, you shouldn't. You should build something cooler or whatever. It's coming down the pipeline. All sorts of cool stuff is coming. Oh man, we have a new user. We have Vibe. Hello, Vibe. How are you? I think Vibe at one point wasn't that like Alex or MK that joined under that name one time? All right. Well, our last but certainly not least, JBN sir. I
Yes,
saw
sir.
you launch Noobster this past week. I saw you talking about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did show Noobster last week, and then I got two more kind of built underneath it. I'm gonna try to share my screen here.
Okay. Let's see what you got.
All right, so yeah, that's noobster.me. That's supposed to be like a simple onboarding to help people just try out Noster.
Yes.
And so the idea is that I can't really convince somebody how awesome Noster is, but if they can go to a website and just click on a big orange button and see what kind of stuff they're going to see on Noster, maybe they'll fall in love like I did. That's all the people talking about things that matter, and the way I see it. So if it's the right fit for somebody with what they see, then maybe they can onboard right from here. And I've got some resources here that are a little bit probably too difficult for the noobster actually right now, but one of my next revisions is to try to make it even cleaner onboarding process.
Cool.
And so I've got some settings that roll off the page here, but the idea is you can either just click the orange button to see my follows is what it is. It's my NPubs follows people that I've followed that I think are interesting and seem like real people. And you can also put in any NPub or any relay and search what's on that relay or what's been posted by that NPub. And then in your own browser, you can save ones that you use frequently so that they can be selected in the drop-down box. And so I've got all my follows notes, and I guess that's about it. I was hoping to be able to say, optimize it so much that it could be used anywhere around the world with a slow connection on
Oh,
any
okay.
phone. But I noticed that, I don't know if you can see up here, I noticed that it uses 56 megabytes no matter what. If I refresh in slow connection mode, it's still using 60 megabytes. So that's way too much for a lot of phones in a lot of places with the world. But hopefully that allows more accessibility for more in the world, more parts of the world.
Very
And
cool.
yeah, so that was my idea, to just have an easy onboarding website. And then that's also been my place to put my other vibe coding experiments that need to be hosted. You can host through Shakespeare on shakespeare.wtf. But I decided to figure out how I can host it underneath a website that I own. And so I've got my next one. Can you see this? Let's see. I gotta restart this screen share. This is Noster Confessions.
Nice.
So this is
this is awesome.
I do love this.
This is cool.
This is
Okay. Yeah, I want to see this.
so my idea here was, the old radio show Loveline?
Yeah.
yeah, I love Adam Carolla. I listen to him a lot over years.
Yep, and of course Dr. Drew.
Yeah,
But I
of course.
love. My idea was, what if you had a show where people can throw in their confessions, and then we comment on them? I think it'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
And people, of course, put in fake ones and all that.
And-
But then I
But
thought,
it's anonymous, or what is it?
so that was the idea. I thought, well, how can I make this anonymous so that people can just feel free to post what they want without too much concern? And then so I asked AI about it, and it was like, well, here's all the things you ought to do to really be really private. So I was like, okay, better put a warning up at the top then. But if it's I put some things like change names and places, and just for fun, not for extremely important stuff. So it gives an idea, and of course that might be too scary, like you said, set up at the top. But I think it'd be a bunch of fun to see what people come up with.
Yeah.
And so that was my first idea. And the next one is Noster rankings.
Okay.
So the idea for this was David Letterman's top 10 lists and MySpace top friends. And I thought, top friends from MySpace, and people comparing their lists of whatever kind of list they want to with each other. And then the other idea was, what if everybody could list their top 3 trusted places to donate saps? And then you could compile all that together and have it all aggregated through your web of trust, all the people you trust. And it's like, I got a bunch of sats I want to donate, but I don't know where to donate it. So let me just see who my friends trust and good places where they're going to have greatest effect. And so this is an attempt to kind of standardize lists of that kind or of any kind. Maybe I want to put my favorite movies at the top of my profile, or maybe I want to list the best restaurants in my town.
Nice.
So this was an attempt to let people do any kind of list they want without having to understand a whole lot underneath it, but have it be connected to a new NIP for list or for rankings that will allow them to be aggregated through Web of Trust later by somebody smarter than me. So I call them rankings as best I can instead of lists, because list kind of means lists of followers or different lists like we used to make in Twitter.
Yeah.
So rankings, let's see if I got extensions set up here. Yeah, so I log in as myself and create a list, then give it a title, my fave movies. And then give it a category. I'm going to do test because this won't be a real one. add an item. What about Idiocracy?
There you go.
My favorite documentary. All right, so then I can publish it to Noster as a kind one note, and it will also publish as its own unique kind that AI came up with, which is 3.10.10. And so I don't completely understand how it's doing that. I'm going to do some research and make sure it's doing that in a sensible way. But as I understand it, if you're using a brand new kind in Noster, it needs to be adopted by a wider community before it's considered as something that will be sort of like more of a permanent fixture. And so I'll have to do some research on that. But then I've got it to where after I publish this list, it will give me an opportunity to share it. Let's see, share it to another client, so I could share it anywhere else. So if let's open up Jumble. So if I copy and paste it to a post in Jumble, then it makes an automatic post of the ranking I just made, and then allows anyone to click on it and go back to the website. And I would have had it just go back. I'd like to have it so that, somebody posts it on Facebook, they don't necessarily come back to my website. I don't really need them to come to my website if that's not the best place to go. I'd like to have it go to a place that displays it beautifully and also has like a good onboarding next to it. And so that's in the works. We get back to the ranking screen. And so I've got it where each of these new rankings, if you click on them, then there are a few more options. You can see all by the same NPub who posted that one. You can share it, and just like we just saw, get something to copy and paste to another website. Or another NPub can make their own like this, so it pre-populates the same title and same categories. So then later, three people do the same kind of ranking, then maybe we can have have the client put them all together and see what the most popular is in the world, or among my followers, or among my followers plus followers.
Mm-hmm.
And so there could be all kinds of applications for this. Of course, people are working on lists and maybe even arbitrary data types that do the same thing, that are much smarter than me. So this very likely won't be the best or most likely implementation to get adoption in the market, which is fine. But it's kind of a proof of concept, an idea of how these kinds of things can be done. And so I had it create related rankings on the side. So everything with the same category or tag shows. And then on the main page, I've got where you can see all and all from my follows, which is none right now, and all from the most zapped among my follows. But I set it up not to where it will see who had the most money to donate to which zap, but to check all my follows and see which ones have been zapped by the most of my follows. If I've got 3 friends who zapped it, then I think it's more popular among the people I am like-minded with. But if it's zapped 1 million by one of my rich friends, and another one zapped 3 sats at a time by 10 of my not rich friends, then I don't want it to be way weighted toward whoever happened to have the most sats or happened to be in that mood that day. So anyway, those are all kind of proof of concept of how this type of thing could be handled if I was doing it. But I like to create a bunch of projects and wait and see which one of them gain traction and are get interest from normies or people outside of my circle, and see if anything goes viral on its own before I put a whole lot of extra time or resources into it. But this is one of the ones that if there's no blind spots that I have about why this is a bad idea, that I think could be really fun for people, and they don't really have to know Noster. they can come straight to this website and create rankings, and it'll allow them to create an NPub. And it's just the kind of fun thing that everybody would do. I remember when I first found Facebook, back when it was find the people you went to school with. A lot of people were doing their top books and top movies and stuff. And that's kind of helps people kind of define their personalities in a way and it's a good discovery engine potentially too. There's a lot of yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm sort of adding on to the to what you're saying, and lists is one of those things that's kind of been around a little bit, but we never really like leaned into it. And I just showed on like Zap Cooking, and we have them, but we don't use them that well, even beyond ranking, right? Like checklist type of thing. Like
Yeah.
there are things that we could do and should do more with lists, for discovery reasons. Like you said, you can get more discoverability that way, which I think is what helps our user growth and retention.
I like that. It makes me think of, well, first of all, I've used list twice on this page where I should have used rankings, but where I could have it, allow lists or rankings where everything's of equal ranking, or two items are tied for first place, or maybe one item's way ahead of second place, but second and third place are pretty close to each other. Yeah, good thought. So I don't know if you can see the address bar when I show the screen or not, but this is at noobster.me/rankings. And I had the other one at noobster.me/confessions, and the other one at noobster.me. And that is aptly named, because despite how smart AI makes me look sometimes, I am a noobster. And Shakespeare, by the way, I guess I'll show you this. I agree with what you said about Opus. Well, I was using Shakespeare and Opus this to do all these projects. And previously I had created one-page HTML files because that's just something I understood. Back in the day, I've made some websites just in HTML, and so I kind of understand that a little bit. So I would tell it, use only JavaScript, have no dependencies whatsoever, nothing that goes outside of this file, one file, HTML, and make me this app. And I could do that in Claude or even with DuckDuck outside of Shakespeare. And I would just, in my first few repositories on Git, I would just upload that one file, so it was just a place to back it up, almost just like a cloud. But for what I did with Noster rankings in particular, it's not going to work with one file. And as I understand it, you don't really want everything in one file, even if it's possible, because then every computer that goes to your website has to load everything no matter what it needs. But if you have it on separate files, then the user only has to download what they need when they need it. And so anyway, on Shakespeare was needed for that, and I wasn't sure. I was kind of afraid when I loaded credits to try it on a complex project, because I was afraid that it might just not even come up with something I was able to use. But it's been perfect. Like I have it with fairly complex files. I'm not sure if it'll show within the browser here. I'm not sure exactly why I can't see it from here. But anyway, it's like 4 or 5 different folders with a bunch of files in it, and I don't know where everything is that makes everything work. But I just tell Shakespeare what needs to fix on what page, and it finds it and reloads it, and it manages my Git as well. So you can't just really download all the files and then upload them to a website somewhere and have it work. You have to build it first, which I learned, and I don't know what that means, but build means make it work, evidently. So it'll send it to Git and then build it, so that then I just download a zip file, and then I download or upload the extracted files from that zip file to my website, and then it works. And so that was all stuff I had no chance of ever being able to figure out on my own. But not only did Shakespeare handle it all and manage it all and do it so that it worked, I was learning about how it works on the way. So I'm really impressed by that. And I used 4.5 as well. And, compared to having to go out and hire somebody to do it, or taking the time to learn it myself, I mean, it is really, really good to start at square one and learn something from the ground up and really understand it from the bottom up. And we need to always have human beings who understand the code all the way to the bottom. But for a person like me that doesn't have the aptitude or the time or the passion to learn those things, but have ideas that might be able to help the world, Shakespeare just opens up the possibilities.
Absolutely. Thank you for the kind kind words. Yeah, like that. I mean, that's the whole reason we're building Shakespeare, so people that aren't developers can build. That's we use it
yeah.
ourselves. What does what I also wonder about, would Nostr be capable of online gaming like we have nowadays, battle royales like Fortnite, MMOs like World of Warcraft? Oh man, I played World of Warcraft for like 15 years of my life. Um, do not bring that into Noster, or you will never see Derek again. Like, you can't combine old addictions with new addictions. Like, um, but I mean, sure, like, so things from MMOs, right? Like achievements, badges, um, points, uh, quests. Like you could in game any type of in-game communication, sure. Um, you could definitely, now you wouldn't want to run the entire thing over Nostr, but the communication layer you could absolutely do. So all the communications, all the text, all the items, all the items could live on Nostr. The your weapons, your trading, like literally all of that stuff. The game files themselves, like the worlds, to have them render and stuff like that probably wouldn't work. But everything else, sure, man. You could absolutely do it. And there are people, oh man, Lady Gaga's here now. There are people that are building gaming, they're basic games right now. Like they're very basic games, but there's a guy on the Soapbox team that's building I don't know what to call it. He's building he is building an MMO. It's a very basic MMO though. And it'll be over in Oster. Blobby Island. It's like kind of like, I don't know, like Animal Crossing, I guess, but in Pokemon like come together. Never played Animal Crossing, but from pictures I've seen. Yeah, it's cool. Decentralized online gaming would be peak. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. There's people building gaming. Like we have Gamester.io that was built with Shakespeare technology. Recently. There's 2 or 3 games there now, and they're online. Like they're old 8-bit games like Space Invaders. There's nothing special. Moonfile.io is proof of concept to have NES ROMs played over Nostr, multiplayer NES ROMs over Nostr, and it works. So that's really cool. But yeah, modern games, there's nothing yet. Okay. Well, anybody have anything else they want to add and or talk about, as they say up in Canada? Have a happy last day of the Noster Advent calendar, Seth. I'm curious to see who the last one of the month is.
Yeah. I can't remember either, but I just looked at it earlier today, and one of Derek's original works of art is the app of the day. Do you know which
Yeah.
one?
Well, Noster Plebs or Noster Ness?
No, well, not that original. I think I have Noster Nests on there. Definitely on one of the days, but more
A work
modern.
of art, you mean?
Well, it was a new introduction to Noster, which was the Yak Back.
Oh, I like
Is
Yak
is
Back. Yak Back. Yak Back's cool. I wish
Yeah,
it
I
had more
agree.
users, but it's cool. I like all we need to do is we need to pick an app that is cool. Like your Zap Cooking, my Yak Back, whoever that actually is cool but doesn't have users or the content. And we literally say, okay, we're going to maybe you don't want to post a new recipe every day, but you post a recipe once a week for a month or something like that. For yaks, you post a daily affirmation yak every morning
Yeah.
for something for Vidster, you go and you record a quick short video and you post it every day. Something like that. Just to like, we need to support these other apps. They're
Well,
cool. They just don't have the users.
not to get spoiler alert, but I've
Oh,
already started my New Year's resolution post, which includes some of these things, which are, building better habits using Noster.
I'll tell you
Uh,
what, Seth. Last year, I said I'm going to start blogging once a week to write an article once a week. Yeah, that didn't last more than like a couple weeks, and then I stopped. But
yeah, no, well,
I'm
yeah,
doing I'm doing it again because I've written like 20 articles for Soapbox over the past 6 months, and I just published them all to Noster yesterday. So that helps with my goal for the year. But
ugh,
well, that's because Pablo fucking abandoned it in February. And after he abandoned it in February, guess what I built in March? I built fucking Zappix. But yeah, like literally like I literally got into vibe coding because Pablo abandoned the fucking an app that I loved.
yeah, yeah,
God damn
yeah,
you, Pablo.
yeah. No, yeah, it lasted 36 days.
Yeah.
Now, well, at least it did, spark some momentum of some new idea, I guess. Yeah, maybe. That's it, and for me at least, it's interesting because I am so far removed from that world. Like, I don't have TikTok, I don't have Instagram, I don't like. I do have, Facebook, or and it's about to go away too because I deleted it off like my phone and everything like that. So I don't really use it that much, but um getting that feedback from sort of Normieville, I guess, is helpful. I did try to post a Facebook post, like I do have like heart still where I'm like, I'm gonna convert one person. And I did like a screen grab of me like boosting a song from Fountain, like, hey, you can support your artist, that you love directly,
Mhm.
and I was thinking in mind like how Spotify just like, torrented all the, basically every song out there.
Yeah.
And not that they paid any of their artists for shit, but like, you know, I'm thinking like, here's this new model, like, and everyone's running to the record store, and it's like, yeah, but we have this new way of doing things, right? And it's like, I dream I can convert one person, like at least one person, like picks up a guitar, is like, that's a great idea. How about I inquire a little bit deeper? But
Yeah.
you know how it goes.
I get you.
You do. Definitely, if you're doing something that is that close to what you're passionate about and you're reaching enough people, you're affecting someone. You don't always hear about it. But
Yeah, no, I know. It's like the teacher, that never gets the accolades, but like, down the when the kid's 30, 40 years old, they remember that teacher, so um
okay.
yeah, I get it. That's my hope. I can, silently convince somebody to, come over to Noster, even if they do it without giving me credit, or quietly, adopting. It's a win. We'll take it.
Okay. Well, I will. Oh, before we go, so next week, since it's the 29th, it's between the holidays and whatnot. So we're gonna be taking a vibing break next week. So if you pop in here a week from now, I won't be here. I'll be I don't know what I'll be doing, but I won't be in here. So we have a week off next week. So spend time with your friends, your family, your loved ones, or work on your projects, and we'll catch you in the new year.
Thanks, y'all.
Happy holidays,
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas, all those
Yeah.
good things. See ya.